All right, so a couple years ago or longer, I was tasked with trying to put carousels on our website, and that was a fun project. And then everything switched over to Equinox, and that made it a whole new process. And I found myself in a position where I'm one of the more knowledgeable people about carousels, and other libraries have been wanting to put these beautiful carousels on their websites to help display their collection, which is why I've added the tagline to display your collection. So I'm going to be going over a few things. If you aren't familiar with, it helps to know what baskets are, and I'll go over those, and buckets. If you know what those are, you have that much more of an advantage, and it might be that much more easy to get started. So let me go over to my slides here. So getting to carousels. So you'll want to make sure that you are logged in with correct permissions. Every library has the ability to set permissions for different accounts. So that's something you might have to discuss amongst yourselves at your library as to who has permission or access to that. And you can always bother Equinox if you need assistance getting to that. You'll want to go to administration, and then you'll click on local administration. And then from there, you'll click on carousels. So let me switch over, and I will start doing this on or in a web browser to show everybody. So let me hop back over to the web page. If something doesn't display correctly, or if I'm going too fast, slow me down. This is my first presentation of this magnitude, so I'm a little bit nervous. I'll try to slow down when I'm talking. Let's see, we were at making sure we're logged in, and we're going to head over to our administration. I need to hide this bubble. Can I minimize it? Close enough. Okay, so just like the slide said, we're going to go to administration, local administration, and then carousels. So the next thing would be making a new carousel. So to do that, you would click on the new carousels, and then you will start filling out the record editor for your new carousel. Something that I've encountered in making these is the carousel must have the same owner across the board. If not, it can cause issues. And we had ours across multiple different owners. And I do believe that's set by library. And if it is scattered, you may want to contact Equinox and see if they can get it all ironed out so all the carousels have the same owner. And then the next thing you'll do is choose the carousel type. There's two main types. There's a manual one, which you'll have to update yourself with all the items that you want to put in your carousel. Maybe you have a special collection, or depending on the month or week, you've got a special display you want to do for, say, Black History Month, Juneteenth, Martin Luther King Jr. We've had carousels for those types of items. And then the other types are automatically updated. So newest by shelving location, newly cataloged, top circulated. We like using the recently returned items. That kind of shows patrons what's hot and what's out right now. We used to have a cart that had some of those recently returned items on display, and this carousel would reflect that. So let me see here. You also want to set the age limit, how old the items are. If this is left blank, it's just any age. You'll need to set the maximum amount of items on the carousel. You can set this as great as you want. For being on a website, though, you may want to limit it to just a couple scroll throughs, 10, 15, 20, something like that, because if it gets too big, it may take a patron a while to browse through them. You'll want to choose your item libraries or your library location. So for those libraries that have multiple branches or places, this is where you'll set that. And if you want a pool of items from all your branch locations, you'll have to add each library. You'll want to set the shelving locations. This can be a little bit interesting. There's a bug, and I'll go over this later in my presentation. There's a bug where the shelving locations may not show in the drop-down box, and you'll have to reach out to Equinox and bother them to get those on there. We had to do that for our new items. We have several different carousels on our website for movies, nonfiction, children's items, and sometimes we couldn't pick the shelving location. They were able to fix it on their end, but it could still be impacting libraries, especially those that have many shelving locations. If you intend for this to be ready to go as soon as you finish crafting it, you want to make sure the is active box is checked. And then after you've made your carousel, the carousel ID and bucket are generated, and those are important numbers that you'll need for displaying it on your website. So let me switch back over to our live mode. I'm going to click on new carousel. And just like the slides, I'll fill this information out. Now you'll see in this list that some of these are specific to a certain library. Again, this is sometimes a little buggy. Trying to find ours. Let's see here. Typos. Well, like I said, it's this. I was able to type it in manually and get it working before. I may just end up with young adult or nonfiction or something else. Again, I have a segment at the end on how to bug Equinox and apply heat to a bug, because I'm sure some of you will want to make this and you'll encounter the same thing. All right, and then I'll hit save. Oh, I need to add it first. Goodness. Nonfiction. Come on. As Hank Hill would say, I tell you what. All right, I'm going to hit save there. And now I'm going to go back over to our slide. So bucket numbers. So right before I hop back over to slide, you could see the system generated buckets. That just means that it created a bucket for this particular carousel. And you'll have to figure, like, whatever you've named the carousel, that's the bucket you'll want to click on when you're adding, subtracting, modifying that particular carousel. And if you click on that, you'll see the bucket number and the carousel ID. And those are both very important pieces. You'll start with a basket. I don't know, hopefully some of you have encountered baskets. It's a wonderful feature, allows you to place multiple holds for a patron. You just go down, oh, I want every season of such and such. You just hit the check boxes and you can get them all at once. So let me show that. Okay. So here's the ME test that I just made. And this is what it looks like. Here's the bucket number. Here's the carousel ID. So back over to the slide. So you'll want to conduct a search in Evergreen. And one of the tips I can bring to you is make sure you're picking the same library that you want it to be from. Otherwise, you're going to get other library results, and that might make things complicated. But while you're in there with your search results, you can hit the check boxes. As I was mentioning before, this allows you to select multiple items, and then you'll click on your basket actions, and then you can add them to a bucket. I'm going to go ahead through this part as well on the slide, and then I'll show you how to do that all on the Webby. So in basket actions, you'll click Add Basket to Bucket. Then you'll want to make sure you click the Shared Bucket. Then in the field here, you'll insert the bucket number from earlier. Then you'll click Add to Shared Bucket. You'll have a confirmation box that pops up asking if you're sure you want to do this. And it'll also show you the carousel ID. And if it's the same ID, you're heading in the right direction. If not, go back and check to make sure that that's the one you had selected. So I'm going to go do that now in the live mode. All right, get that bucket ID. Copy. Search the catalog. Trying to purposely find young adult nonfiction items. Exclude electronic resources here. May have to do an advanced search. No. Goodness. I may have to go back and edit what I'm looking for and pick a different section as well. Juvenile nonfiction, I'll try that. I may have to edit the carousel. And there are 2 items I've selected here. I'm going to go back up to the basket items. I'm going to add basket to bucket. Click on shared bucket. I'm going to paste my bucket ID there. Add to shared bucket. Add to the bucket with the ID of 211. Confirm. Now I'm going to go back over to my carousels. Administration, local administration, carousels. I'm going to edit. Well, goodness. Here we go. Here we go. I found it. That one did display. And you can also click on the bucket to see what items are in it. And as you can see, the 2 items I've selected are now in there. Does anybody have any questions, or I can't see you guys, so if there's like deer in headlight looks, I'm so sorry. If anybody needs me to go over anything I've gone through so far, again, please let me know. This isn't hard, but there's a lot of steps involved in getting a carousel to your website or making a carousel. So does anybody have any questions real quick?
Okay, Nikki, are the step-by-step in the document?
Yeah, the step-by-step will be in the slideshow.
Yes,
me?
I will be sharing this slideshow with you guys.
Yes, yes.
And
Thanks,
I will have my contact information on there, or you can reach out to me and ask me all the questions you want about this, and I will set aside time and we'll get these on your website or whatever it is you need to do. Let me head back over to.
Evan, did you see that question from Erin? She says, how many carousels can you have at one time?
As many as you feel like putting on a website at one time. I will say that it may cause your website to load a little bit slower. If you have high-speed internet, you may not notice, but for patrons that are out and about, it may take it a moment longer to load. And also, depending on where you place them, you may want to pick and choose, but you can have as many as you want. Let me go back to here, go back, and increase the amount of rows here. We have 11 in total, and all of our new ones are on our website. Let's see, is this displaying correctly? Let me see. Yeah, okay. Want to make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. Otherwise, I'm just talking about a page that you guys aren't looking at. Let me go to poplar.bluff.org. Are you guys able to see the website okay? Did everybody see that okay?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So let me scroll down a little bit. And this is kind of how we have laid out our carousels. This top section right here where it says new books at the library and the buttons, that's of our design. But the carousel recently added the jackets, the previous and the next. Those are of our doing. And if you click on these buttons on our website, it'll take you to a different page where we have a different embedded carousel. So these are our new books. We've got the adult library, teens, children's and our movies.
It is.
How do you get the buttons?
I designed those and I'm more than happy to help you out with that. That's something done in HTML and CSS or cascading style sheets. Depends on what kind of website you have. If it's a hosted website, like, oh goodness, WordPress or something of that nature, you may have to see their documentation on how to insert blocks of code into that. If you are making your own HTML, I have a sample of code here, which is basically a fill in the blank. You know, you put your library name and your carousel ID in it, but I'll go over that in just a moment. But yeah, I can show anybody who's interested on how to make these buttons and how to make it to where they do the fancy moving and color changing when you hover over them. You have to get with me after the presentation and all that, and we'll figure it out. Did anybody else have any questions?
For that.
I heard a couple at the same time there.
I guess I'm thinking of the carousels that used to show up on our OPAC page, like sykeston.missourievergreen.org.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it's on my page too.
let me see here.
I'm wondering, and this might be a more Equinox question, if I have the right permissions to make those carousels appear. Because I've designed them manually and system generated, and I never get a
You
carousel.
may have to, to be honest, I didn't quite think of that aspect. This is the one that's been bugging us the most, is making them look beautiful and on here. But yes, you are right. There should be a way to put a carousel on the home page.
Yeah.
That may be something I need to do a follow-up with you guys on.
This is on the library's website, not the OPAC website.
So it is possible to put them on the OPAC. It is there. The process for that, I am not entirely certain. I'll have to follow up and get more information, or you may have to reach out to Equinox. But well, our ME test is showing up there because I've made it active. All 2 books. Yep. So I'm glad it's working. That's exactly what it would be like, and you can click through it.
Yeah, they do normally when you come in the state library, they'll do your carousels on your OPAC. He's teaching how to build customize what you come up.
Yeah, we have them on our website too.
So I didn't think of that aspect, and that might be something to add to version 2.0 of this presentation, to get on the OPAC. Any other questions that anybody might have for that?
Some questions in the chat, maybe.
I need to look at that a little bit more. Let me hop over.
I'll let
Oh
her
goodness.
chat here.
Well, that's good that we don't have to do anything extra. I know our director, Shannon, she has put a lot of work into trying to convince Equinox to make them look really beautiful. And this is where we're at right now. I would like to see more customizations myself in terms of the colors, so it maybe matches the library website theme. It'd be really nice to do that, but that's a nicety. Let's see here. I do believe the age limit is days. That's less important if you've got like an automatic updating carousel, for example, like the new books, new movies, new whatever it is, those will automatically update. But you can set a cutoff point. Maybe it's 3 months or 90 days. That also tends to align with a lot of the hold protection that some libraries may put on. That way, you know, they know that there's a chance, the patron knows that there's a chance they can get those items. and they're not shipped off to another library quite yet. Oh, it jumped. Let me see here. I'm not seeing any other questions unless I'm blind, which is a great possibility. So I'm going to go back over to the slideshow. And embedding a carousel. This is, again, it's not hard, but it requires some precise inserting of code on your website. And as I mentioned before, if you have a hosted platform that has like building blocks, such as WordPress, I don't know all the different vendors that have web hosting services, but they usually have a very simple building block, and it gets complex when you want to enter your own snippets of code. But the first step is to contact your library's website wizard. If you have a hosted website, like I said, speak with them, and then you'll want to insert the following HTML wherever it is that you want your carousel. I've highlighted the code, and I've also changed the color of the important bits. So the library part will be the identifier of what library carousel you want. Excuse me. And then the carousel ID is that ID number that we went over previously. And that will make your carousel pop up wherever it is. We do have some customization to ours to crop it because it was taking up a really large amount of space on our website. And I can show some of that. Let's see here. And again, slow me down if I'm going too fast. So I'll head back over to bluff.org. I'm wondering if it will just let me view the source. All right, this is going to be a lot.
Everybody started drinking, just like everybody grabbed a drink.
Goodness.
This looks worse than it is. It really isn't this bad.
This gibberish here, I might be able to
It looks really scary. But
here we go.
Yeah.
It is a lot of this is our stuff. Let me get down to the meat and potatoes, what we're actually after here. I may have passed it right up. My apologies if I have. Let's see. That's the slideshow. Well, gosh darn it. Can I use control? Let's see here. I do believe I've located it here. So sorry to derail a little bit, but I did find the snippet of code, and it's an iframe, and here it is. Our library is Poplar Bluff, and then this one is the default, so there is no ID to put in there, but normally you would have it end with the question mark ID equals and then the number. Let me see if I can find an example of that as well. I'm going to give everybody whiplash jumping around like this. All right. Oh goodness, I'll just go to the source. Here we go. And here's the segment right at the very end. I don't know if you all can see this, where it says question mark ID and then 153. That's the ID for that carousel. Does anybody have any questions? Again, I heard somebody say it's not that bad. It really isn't. And of course, I heard somebody else say there's an undo button.
Stop lying to us.
What? What? I am sure there are things that you all do that I would say is the most difficult thing ever, and you would tell me that it's nothing. But you are welcome.
Create
Pardon?
pairs. You add the items to the bucket and then you put the snippet on the website. Are those the three main steps? Create
Yes, but
carousel.
yeah, the three main ones is you make your carousel, you get your bucket ID, you do a search, put things in a basket, then you put the basket in the bucket, and that's the gist of it.
Yes.
There you go.
See, it's
That's the
easy.
gist of it. I've already volunteered myself to help libraries who said that they may need help with that, including the buttons. And you're welcome to right-click view source on our website if you are the library website wizard at your library, and you can see how it's set up. We're not hiding anything. There might be some comments to remind myself of what's going on the website, but it's all right there. I'm happy to walk anybody through it in great detail. We'll set aside some time and work through it, because I know that you want to put your collection on display, whether it's the website or in-house. Does anybody have any questions about anything I've gone over so far? I can't see how dazed you are, and I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right.
They
I
should have
think
put the
that
break
there's
after
a lot of
this.
interest, and I know that there are several people in the room that are going to follow up with you.
I hope so. This is more of a exposure therapy. Get the shock out of your system and look at it and decide this is what I want to do.
Thank you. Excellent.
Yes, there's a couple more slides I want to go over. No camera. Here we go. Oh yes, of course. Display your collection and enjoy your new carousel. That's the after you do all that difficult stuff, then you can roll your chair back, lean back, and say, I did it. And you can brag and tell your staff, look at what I did. And they may or may not have the same level of appreciation because you did all the website stuff and you worked real hard, but they'll be excited to see the jackets on the website. And the patrons will be excited as well. So this is a kind of a bonus thing. I tried to get Equinox to fast track the issues with the carousels, namely the one where the shelving locations aren't showing. And they said the only way that that's going to get prioritized is if more people add heat to it. I disagree. I said I have a presentation coming up, and they said, well, talk about it. And that's what I'm doing. So if you don't have one, you'll have to create a Ubuntu One account. And I have the links on the slide. After you've created your account, you've got your password put somewhere safe so you don't forget it. You can then visit the Evergreen launchpad. That is their platform for reporting bugs. And there is a link as well. And then you'll want to add heat to a bug. And this isn't isolated to just the carousels. If there's something going on in Webby that you feel hasn't gotten attention, band together and bug the snot out of them. Otherwise, it may get swept under the rug. Yes, I do. It's right here for this one exactly. It's bug number 1993743. Because I remember bugging them back in October. I bugged John specifically, putting him on the spot.
He's good people. I like him.
I will say I have the opportunity to work with Dale and John, and they're very kind and patient with me because I will rattle off all the problems and then they'll say, you mean this? And you fix it by that. So, excuse me, they're very knowledgeable, but they also have everything else they're doing. So applying heat to any of the bugs that you're experiencing, carousel or not, will get it the attention it deserves.
Well said.
Helps them prioritize their work.
Yes, and of course, you could all slam them with phone calls as well. I mean,
Sorry.
I bug them all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys bug them when things go down and your checkout machines, if you have them, have stop signs or do not enter signs.
This is
That is my
unconscious,
presentation.
so all
Um,
there's in all the world now, if you put something on a bug.
all the bugs, including the carousels don't look beautiful, make them customizable. That could be a bug too. And you all could put heat on it and then make them as beautiful as you want. I'm picking on Shannon just a little bit there. I know that when we had them, there's a different design when they were under Mobius. And I know, hopefully all of you have gotten to the point where if you have old Mobius snippets on your website, you've had the opportunity to replace them, because now it looks all messed up and server can't be reached and the page doesn't load properly. So if you're still having that, let me know. We'll work on getting the new Equinox carousels going on. Does anybody have any questions about anything I've gone over?